Hey guys, welcome back to the podcast. I'm Mikel, and this is what I learned today. What happened in South Korea on December 3rd has revealed yet another crack in the fragile pillars of democracy. I'm not sounding the alarm yet, but I do ask you to stay informed and reflect on the choices citizens and leaders are making. Today, we're going to dive into the global decline of democracy. According to the International Ideas Global State of Democracy 2023 report, the number of democracies worldwide has fallen from 95 in 2016 to 91 in 2023. Fewer than 2.3 billion people now live under democratic systems compared to 3.9 billion just a few years ago. This dramatic shift demands our attention. In this episode, we're going to examine the reasons behind this troubling trend and look back at historical lessons and discuss how we can work to protect democracy before it's too late. The decline of democracy isn't marked by dramatic coups or violent uprisings as in the past. Instead, it's a gradual erosion through voter suppression, media control, and weakened institutions. Take Hungary, for example. Since 2010, Prime Minister Viktor Orban has consolidated power by rewriting election laws, restricting independent media, and silencing dissent. Hungary is now classified as an electoral autocracy, not a democracy. In Turkey, President Recep Tayyip Erdogan's government has cracked down on press freedom and jailed political opponents. This has left citizens with fewer avenues for dissent. And even in the United States, a long-standing symbol of democracy, trust in institutions has plummeted. The fallout from the 2020 election and the January 6th Capitol attack reveal just how fragile democratic norms can be. History offers cautionary tales of how democracies can collapse under the weight of populism and division. The Weimar Republic in 1933, post-World War Germany struggled with economic turmoil and social unrest. Adolf Hitler exploited these vulnerabilities, using decisive rhetoric to consolidate power. Democratic institutions crumbled, giving rise to a dictatorship. Ancient Athens, 4th century BCE. The birthplace of democracy fell to populist leaders like Alcibiades, who prioritized personal power over the collective good. Their decisions led to disastrous military ventures and the eventual collapse of democracy in Athens. Chile, under Pinochet, 1973. In 1970s, Chile's democracy succumbed to economic instability and political polarization. Populist movements fractured the nation, paving the way for General Augusto Pinochet's military coup and decades of authoritarian rule. These examples remind us that no democracy is invincible. So why? The erosion of democracy today stems from three major vulnerabilities. First, media manipulation. Governments restrict information to control public opinion. In Hungary, nearly 80% of media is pro-government. Globally, social media amplifies disinformation, further eroding trust in factual reporting. Electoral interference. Election manipulation undermines fairness. In India, concerns over electoral integrity are growing, threatening its status as the world's largest democracy. Populism and divisive politics. Populist leaders use fear and anger to divide societies. In Brazil and Poland, nationalist rhetoric has deepened polarization. Misinformation and propaganda, exacerbated by advanced technologies like AI and deepfakes, further distort reality. Fake news, doctored videos, and AI-generated content are weaponized to mislead voters and undermine trust in elections. So, imagine this. Imagine a world where democracy's decline becomes irreversible. Without democratic institutions to hold power in check, governments could operate without accountability. Now, elections might still exist, but serve only to maintain an illusion of choice. In such a world, surveillance technologies could monitor and control citizens as seen with China's social credit system. If you haven't listened to that podcast, I highly recommend you do. Propaganda would dominate, distorting reality and suppressing dissent. And economic inequality would deepen as elites would hoard resources and power. This dystopian future is not far-fetched. Venezuela, once a thriving democracy, now struggles under authoritarian rule, economic collapse, and widespread repression. So what can we do? While the challenges are daunting, there are steps that we can do to take safeguard and protect our democracy. First, support independent media. A free press ensures accountability, and subscribe and share to independent journalism. Demand electoral fairness. Advocate for transparent election process and voting rights. Promote civic education. Teach others about the importance of democracy and how to protect it. Mobilize locally. Grassroots movements have driven meaningful change in the past. Democracy isn't self-sustaining. It requires active participation and vigilance. Here are some 5 key takeaways. First, democracy is declining globally, leaving billions without its protections. Historical examples reveal how populism and division can dismantle democracies. Today's decline is fueled by media manipulation, electoral interference, and indecisive politics. Misinformation and advanced technologies pose growing threats to democratic systems. Collective action can reverse this trend and restore faith in democratic governance. Democracy is worth fighting for. History shows that change is possible when people unite. Share this episode with others and let's work together to protect the values that make our societies better. Guys, thank you for listening. I hope you learned something. I'm learning as well. We must protect our democracy. I'm Mikel, and this is what I learned today. Bye.